Hello, everyone. Welcome to yet another latest new podcast of Slice of Life with Madhavi featuring Young India. And today we have two young Indians with me, Agnidh and Doris ma'am. And today's topic is Love Aajkal or Parso. I know, right? I mean, Valentine's Day is around the corner, and why not talk about love? And this is like one of my favorite topic when it comes to talking about teenagers and young Indians. So thought of talking to these two folks who can bring insights about how love life has been for them, and what interesting insights they have from their group of friends. So maybe Doris ma'am, you can start. You can you we can start with your introduction.
So thank you so much, Madhavi, for inviting me over. It's good to see you too. And thanks for reminding that Valentine's Day is on the corner. It just completely missed me. So now I said, oh yes, it's almost February. And yeah, I mean, it was a big deal when we were kids and when I was a young girl. But, obviously it has taken a completely different form now. So, how do I start? So, what was love like when I was like, so I'm almost 60 years old. So, I'm talking of something that happened, 40, 45 years ago in my life. And because I work with young people, I can still understand and associate a lot of what they go through. A lot of the heartbreaks that their parents also go through, because, my parents also did, and so did I when my daughter was growing up. So, I can understand that part of it. Nonetheless, I think obviously it has changed by leaps and bounds, right? I'm sure you agree with me. It has changed so much because, there was no question of dating when I was young. I mean, absolutely, it was like a big no. And I mean, we never discussed it. Our parents never even thought of, of discussing that part. The thing was that you study, you get a job, and you get married with a person that your parents will find you. And, it was like that for everybody. But obviously, they were, when we were in college, life was different. We saw different things in life. Some of us did have boyfriends, but nobody knew about it. Like families obviously did not know about it. Uh, and it was a very different thing because, the relationships are it was just like basically going out for coffee or all of us hanging out in a group. It was not like, you can take the weekend off with your boyfriend or girlfriend. I mean, that definitely did not happen. So I mean, that's my take. I don't know. I mean, you all can also talk and add, and we can expand on the thought process. Yes. But Valentine's Day was big, okay? So we had roses and stuff like that, and a lot of the anonymous notes went around. But that was more in college, not in school, definitely. But definitely in college, it didn't happen.
Oh, that's great. So, to be honest, like to the listeners, I would like to tell, though ma'am says that she is 60 years old, I think she is forever 21. So the way she talks, the way she thinks, I never ever thought that she's 60, though she has told me that. But yeah, that's why she's on the podcast because we only talk to young Indians. And I thought of having her on the podcast. And no, ma'am, I'm not buttering you up. This is what I felt after talking to you.
Yeah, they make me yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Agnid, your insight. So you are at that prime age where you have must have started dating. Your friends must have started dating, or there would have been like couple of breakups also by now. Because I know someone who is 19 years old and he has had already two breakups. And like, wow, this is so interesting.
Just to cue in from ma'am, I think roses are still a big part of the picture. That roses will forever remain a big part of Valentine's Day. But I think that you know, nowadays I'd say love has become much more let's say accessible. Even from a societal acceptance point of view, and also with in terms of finding the right person, most people I know found sort of the person that they're dating on an app, be it Tinder or Bumble. Yeah. So So what I think is that there's a lot of competition because, as I was saying, love has become much more accessible. So you have to make sure that your relationship is not boring. There's the constant pressure of reinventing your relationship every single day, because there is the fear that your partner might just leave you for the next guy she finds on a dating app, or the next guy who messages her on Instagram. So yeah, that's I think how the stability part of it has gone away. Like, I'm pretty sure most of my friends would agree that they would want a relationship in which they are certain that their partner won't leave them the next day or the next week.
But
So,
that is anyway there. That is, I mean, that kind of stability has been down generations. I mean, it is not. I mean, people look for stability, but I don't know. But somewhere I think that the younger, I mean, your generation is also very clear, because I have seen, I have students, and so if one of them is going abroad to study, and then they've decided in advance that this relationship is only going to last as long as I'm in this country. The military war is not, I mean, which is unheard of. And, at least in my generation, you just basically the guy or the girl you went out with, eventually the idea was to get married to them. But this generation doesn't think of like that, and I think it's because the guy should marry somebody was you dating them. So that thought process, I think, is very important because it also allows you to grow. And another thing is a friend, my friends, my age group friends, and we have girls and daughters and sons who are, probably seeing each other. And we are very happy if they have met a couple of people, dated a couple of people before they decide on whom to marry. Because, we all married the ones that we dated, most of us, 90, or we went into arranged marriages. So we know all the gaps in the relationship like that. So we don't want our children to go through it. So I would be very happy if our kids, had a few relationships and then decided, okay, this is the person I want to get married, or don't want to get married also is fine. But whatever, like a long term thing. So I
so,
think that shift is important.
so for
And I
me,
think it's a good shift.
yeah. So for me, I grew up with in a very orthodox family where everyone in my family got an arranged marriage. Okay, and then when I went to Pune for getting my degree, the whole world was different. Everyone was dating, and I was like, "What is this?" And then after 4 years, I realized you don't get married to the person you date, and this was so new to me, and I was so surprised that this is the world. This happens, and this is completely normal. And for me to accept it, so me and my roommates, flatmates used to gossip a lot that, oh, this girl is dating this girl, and after this guy, like these two people are dating, and now they're in second year they're dating some other people, in third year they're dating some other people, and we were like, this is not acceptable. And then I was, after fourth year, I realized this is such a completely normal process to date multiple people, because you know what kind of people you want to end up with. and,
Yeah.
and this concept of like getting married to the guy whom you have dated was so, like, so out of date. Like,
Fashion idea, yeah. So it is
yeah.
old fashioned. But I just want to ask Agnidh one thing. Side to it, is there a lot of pressure to date in your generation? There
Yeah,
is,
I mean, there
right?
is a lot of pressure to, yeah, yeah, there is, because I think even when you're talking with your friends, right? When I talk with my group of boys, I mean, the topic of relationships does come up eventually, and because everybody's dating, that's a big part of the conversation. So I remember when I was single, or when I'm single from time to time, I feel left out of those conversations. So the pressure to date, of course, is sort of enormous. Like, you sort of call someone and to, let's say you want to go for dinner with someone, a friend of yours or something, and they might, they are spending time with their partner, right? And that happens often. And if you're single, then that gets to you, because you don't have that someone to spend, that much time to. So the pressure to date, of course, is sort of enormous.
Okay.
And I would like to know from you, ma'am, how parents are taking it up, because you work with a lot of students also. I would also like to know from you, Agnit, how your parents are taking it. But from ma'am, because you have seen a lot of parents come from various backgrounds, from tier one city like Mumbai to tier four city or tier three cities as well. Because you work with students and parents, so how it has been? How are they taking it up? Because I know my parents still will be like, "Oh my God, dating and all, oh my God, what my daughter is doing." So yeah, it's quite hostile thing.
Older generation stays the same. The older generation, except in cities, because people like us have seen a lot of, we see a lot of changes because we live in such a huge metro like Bombay, which is like so diverse. But when I look at my, where my schools are located in the semi-rural areas, parents are, they exactly like what my parents or grandparents were like. So even though they may be, the parents may be younger than me by one generation also, they may be in their 30s, but the thinking is very, very, it's very, very, intact in the sense is very, very conservative. There is no doubt about it. And what has happened actually, there's been a leap because the younger generation, the ones who are teenagers and the ones in their early 20s, there's been a huge leap because the gap between the ones in their 30s and the ones in their 20s is very big, all thanks to social media. I mean, social media has played a very important role over there. So, so there is a lot of emphasis from our side when we're working with parents that, you understand what social media is. Don't just take the phone away. Don't just tell them, ban them from Facebook, because that doesn't really help with the process, because, and understand what social media is about, because I think social media puts a lot of pressure on young people to be seen with somebody, because all those pictures you see on Facebook, all very happy faces. Everyone's having a fabulous time, a fantastic time on Instagram and everywhere else. But it's life is not like that. Life is not all. It's not only all ups. There's a lot of downs and a lot of plateaus. I mean, most of life is a plateau. There are some spikes and some lows, but that doesn't come across. And what has happened with youngsters is because of the exposure to social media, there is a tendency for them to explore their own feelings, which probably is frowned upon very strongly by the older generation. So this gap and this gap is quite deep. I mean, like between my, it's not as deep between me and my parents. It's not deep at all between me and my daughter. But but between these two, because there's literally like a huge, a much bigger and a much deeper gap between, especially in the semi-urban areas. And kids do go in for arranged marriages. I mean, in the sense that they have really, the family pressure is so huge, the community pressure is so humongous. That you do go in for arranged marriage, even if you think differently, even if you want to not ever get married and lead a single life, it's a big struggle. It's a big struggle to do it. So that's my, but at the end of the day, for us to understand this whole thing of for each individual across generations, to understand this thing of self-determination, when each person determines for themselves, herself or himself, and Agnidh can determine for himself whether he wants to date a guy or a girl. I mean, which is like a huge, which is another big thing which you have to cross, a chasm you have to cross, which community and caste and all that becomes then, secondary if you choose to, have a partner of the same gender. So I'm just saying that it's all work in progress. Definitely, we have yet to reach there, but I think we will over a period of time. But it's a struggle. I mean, it is not an easy road.
That's true. I have another question for you, but I would like to know from Agnid. Agnid, how your parents took when they got to know that, you're dating someone, or are they fine, or they even know about it? How it has been?
Well, my parents still don't know the specifics. So there, I would like to agree with Doris ma'am in saying that yes, parents are still very conservative. Of course, my mother has some inkling of what might be going on, but even today, to this day, I don't have the courage to sort of go up to her and say that, mom, I'm actually in a relationship. And I think that the same applies for my friends. For the person I'm with, they go to, they go to great lengths to hide their relationship from their parents. And which is and sometimes it's counterintuitive, because parents usually don't want their kids to be in the relationship because the academics and all get affected, but because they have to hide the
Yeah.
relationship from their parents, they end up bunking classes. And because that's the only time they can find, in which they can sort of devote to their partner. So that's I completely agree with Doris, ma'am. Where the thinking around dating hasn't changed at all. And almost everyone I know, unless it's from a completely metro. So I'm from Jamshedpur, just to give you that context. But unless it's from a completely metropolitan area like Bombay or something, everyone sort of has the relationship, or doesn't, at least is not open about the relationship with their parents.
Yeah. And
So
Indian parents have a huge thing about how relationships can affect academics. I mean, academics is affected by the fact that you're not interested in studying. It has nothing to do with it. And it's very hilarious. Down the year, decades and decades, parents think like that. I mean, it's hilarious. And Indian parents and academics have some, some strange thing happening. I mean, even I'm guilty of the same. So I'm just saying, I mean, I have changed now, but thanks to my daughter. But I also was like that, like a parent who would think that, oh God, if she did this, then kya hoga yaar? And eventually you realize that actually it doesn't really matter. In life, it doesn't really matter.
yeah, and और एक चीज, so what I have seen, और मैंने ये देखा है कि once that parent को पता चल जाता है कि हाँ, my son or my daughter is having an affair, and they are like, सोशल मीडिया बंद कर दो, फोन फेंक दो, उसके बाद दोस्तों से मिलना बंद कर दो. This kind of reaction starts coming in. I know from where they're coming. As you said, that cats and Indian parents have janam janam ka rishta and all. But how should parents react to it? Like, what should they do? Like, I would like to know from you, ma'am, as well as Agnidh as well, because he what I think is parents should take it cool, because it's only hormones that are jumping around during this age. However, what should be their response? How should they take it up, and how should they make a
Parents keep
conducive
forgetting.
environment?
Yeah, sorry. I just think parents keep forgetting that they were teenagers at one point of time. You should just do a deep think and say, okay, listen, I mean, like, think to yourself. I mean, you don't have to express it to anybody. What did you do when you were 15, 16, 17? Very similar. Had you been given the freedom, you would have much more probably. But hormones exist in everybody. I mean, it is not like some unique thing that has happened only to you. And in your circle, like in your environment, you've done whatever had to be done. I mean, you would, like, I mean, when we were 15, 16, I mean, there was no question of dating, but we would do all the girls would gather together and talk about the guys, and then maximum there would be some notes that would be passed around and things like that. So I mean, but had our parents come to know that, they would have been hell and brimfire, I mean, had that happened, I mean, had they got to know. So I think we should just understand that, I mean, as parents, as a mother, and as an educationist, and, when I talk to parents also, I feel that, just give a little bit of a rope, but don't get so hyper about what your relatives will think. Because this whole thing with parents get hyper is that बिरागले में क्या होगा, या लोगों को पता चलेगा तो क्या होगा, नेबरहुड में, अरे नेबरहुड के बच्चे भी तो है ना, there's jumping hormones happening there. So आपके घर में jumping hormones. So, that is something the parents need to figure out.
So I know
And
someone I know someone who found out that her daughter was dating someone, and she made a fuss about it, and then she came crying to me that, my daughter was not like that. I used to gossip about others' daughter, and look what my daughter is doing. So first of all, maybe they should stop gossiping about others' daughters or other kids who are dating, because as you said, अरे समाज में क्या कहेंगे, तुम्हारे वही समाज का बच्चा, like even your neighbor's son is also doing the same thing. Why are you so worried about it? That's such a good thing that you said right now.
yeah, I think if you see a lot of these stand-up comedians now, that they all really, really take the case of Indian parents. And I'm very happy it's coming up at least through stand-up comedy, if not through a serious conversation. I mean, I can't do stand-up comedy. So what I can do is when parents come, I can talk and chat. But stand-up comedy has brought it out to to the ultimate where they say that your daughter has to be a virgin till she gets married. And once she gets married, she will say the most fabulous sex she's had. Why? But then and the girl and the stand-up comedian say, but I did not have any benchmark. How am I supposed to know it was fabulous or not? But the fact that it is being talked about, and this person is talking to a room full of people, which is people with different intentions. So, the message goes across to everybody. Listen, guys, don't make such a big deal out of it.
So I remember this again talking about stand-up comedy. I remember this guy or someone who said that Indian parents want us as a kid they will tell अनजानों से बात मत करो बट अरेंज मैरिज में अनजानों से शादी कर लो और उन लोग के साथ सेक्स कर लो
them and have children with them and be happy with them. And it's like that, it's like but the contradiction. So this kind of contradiction is what we need to bring out to adults, basically. When you have a conversation, parents come very hassled about something or the other. Child is not focused on stuff. That is all part of growing up. Not being able to focus on studies is because there's so many exciting things happening outside the classroom. Why will the child want to study all the time? So that is one. Second is that all children are not the same. Like in a family, the eldest kid may be the studious one, the middle kid is a maverick, the third one is only interested in sport. So obviously, the children are not all going to be like some standard operating procedure. So that is one another thing. And the third thing is that let the child live now. Let them enjoy. I mean, live. I mean, it's dating is not the only thing. There's so many million things that they can do when they get out of the house. So allow them to do that. By constantly telling them don't date ये लड़का को मत देखो वो लड़की के you're actually reiterating that thing into their head that this is what you are not supposed to do. And if you want to remember exactly what they'll go ahead and do.
so I totally think that the one thing that I would like to tell my younger self is date. As I said, I was so boring when I was a teenager. I used to only study with this big chashma, and my group was also like that. All studious girls and boys, and basically girls because I did my 12th in Satara, and at that time we did not used to talk to boys. I don't know why. When I was in Bhilai, we I had all friends. They were mostly boys, and then when I came to Satara, it was such a transition. You don't talk to boys at all. And I'm like, what is happening to me? And then I go to Pune, it's again a cultural shock. Everyone is dating everyone. So
Yeah.
it was so different. I mean, what do you think parents should do if they find out that their kid or their yeah, I would say kid only because for parents we all are kids still we are
Yeah.
even whatever
Always, forever.
forever.
Yeah, I totally agree with ma'am, and to sort of let us live, to not be sort of scandalized, and to sort of understand that it's all a part of the process of growing up nowadays. I think that because sort of parents are so scandalized. So I mean, I'll just tell you my experience with it, right? And the experience for most of my friends. So a lot of us were very suppressed till the 10th, right? Till the 10th grade, where parents can monitor you, they can engage in a lot of helicopter parenting, and they were very suppressed. They couldn't do anything. But then in the 11th, when they stepped into the 11th, a whole new world opened up. They used to go to these coaching classes, and there was a lot of there's a lot of free time on their hands. And so what happened as a consequence of that suppression was that everyone started dating, and at a very rapid and a very frantic pace. And that again was, as I was saying to my initial point, that it was very counterintuitive, because that was harmful to a lot of people, right? A lot of hearts got broken, a lot of people got sad, a lot of people got disappointed, because they started dating so frantically because they were suppressed. I think that parents should sort of have somewhat of an open space, because their kid will go to a coaching class, their kid will go to college, and if you sort of keep them suppressed, then the moment they get the first bit of freedom, they might end up taking decisions in their dating life which aren't exactly conducive to them. Yeah.
Yeah. So when do you plan to tell your mom that you are dating?
Never.
I mean, I think, yeah, never. Yeah, yeah, that's true. I mean, the
There's
only
peace in the
time I
house.
think, yeah, I mean, the only time I think I tell my mom is, when I think that, I'm ready to get married. And that's the only time.
Oh
Before
my
that, no.
God.
Yeah.
But
So,
tell your mom, and I'm telling you why, because she would understand. I mean, tell her in a good moment. Don't tell her when there is, like, बहुत सारा stress चल रहा है घर में, या there's something else happening. You must tell her, not for any other reason, because how else will how else will the generation gap, how will the divide get filled up? You should tell her. But tell her in a very gentle way and tell her this is not the end of the world. I am studying, I am doing this, I am doing that, I'm doing everything. But I also like this girl, and we are good friends, and we are little more than friends. And I think she will understand, she will also remember. She'll probably say, oh gosh, I wish I had, this kind of a thing when I was young. I'm sure she would say that. Okay. She might not tell you that, she might tell her friends that, or her sister or whatever, but you know,
So the point was that you should talk to your mom and you should tell her that I'm doing this, and this is also a girl that I like, and yeah, that's it. Like, yeah, I guess that will.
just to that, yeah, yeah. On that, I just like to ask, ma'am, just this one question, because because we were discussing academics and sort of dating. And I think that why a lot of us don't want to tell our parents is that, let's say, the moment our grades go down, like when I was in school, let's say that I was doing bad in my test, or let's say someone had get into an IIT or a good engineering college, or when I'm now in college, if I can't get a, let's say, if I don't do well in an interview, or my GPA goes down, then the first thing our parents will say that, because you were dating, this fall happened, and that fear is what prevents us from telling our parents. So how do you think we should resolve that, both Madhvi and ma'am? um,
no, so I personally think that getting admission into IITs or IIMs or passing or getting into an MBBS degree, it's not part of a process. It is not a goal. In the sense, like I have friends
right.
who have dropped out of IIT and have become journalists. Can you imagine? Qualification to be a journalist. They've dropped out of IITs and medical. I mean, or they finished a medical college. I have a friend, my colleague's son. He's done his MBBS. He's worked as a doctor for several years. Guess what he does today? He's a tour guide. He does his walking heritage tour, heritage walks in the city. Can you imagine what the family must have gone through when he announced, I want to be that? But you have to face it in the sense, I mean, you have to face it as an, I mean, if you're so passionate about something, you have to do that. And he has to go, he's always been it all. I have friends who don't know this for. So, what I'm trying to say is that if you tell your parents that it's great that, and I am going in for this interview, but me not getting through an exam or me not getting through an interview has got nothing to do with this girl. In fact, she is a positive influence in my life. She's not a negative influence in my life. And technically speaking, as a human being, you cannot be studying 24/7. You can only study
Yeah.
that much because your brain can also take in that much. In fact, Indian parents are great at telling children that do not do any sports because it will come in the way of academics. And actually, I used to a lot of, I mean, not toppers as in 10th and all, because 10th and all now is irrelevant in terms of the marks. I'm just saying people who do well in life, they're also good sportsmen because sport helps. There is a chemical reaction that goes on in your body which kind of supplements your academic abilities also. So it is, so whatever else you do, you pick up a hobby, you do other things. It is not taking time away from your academics, it is actually sharpening your mental skills, your faculties. So, I think that this is the job that you as youngsters have to talk to parents about. I mean, I can tell my friends, but then they say, yeah, you're the odd one out. You'll always keep lecturing us on what we should do. But then kids turn around and tell their parents that. And it's a fact. Now, do your reading. Just make it obvious to them that dating is not the end all in life. There are many things I do. There are many facets to my personality. And I'm sure there are other facets to your personality. I'm sure you have a passion to play cricket, maybe, or to you have some art collection, or you probably paint. So there are many facets. Dating is just one part where I feel a little closer to this one individual. And of course, it's too early to say that I feel closer to this individual irrespective of gender. That's a different thing. You don't have to get into that now. But I'm just saying that you have to, how else will you open up? It's like literally parents learn from each other. I learned a lot when I was teaching in college, actually speaking. About 15 years ago, I taught in college for 2 years. And the kids used to be so happy. I said, man, this class is so good. I said, you guys have taught me so much in 2 years. Like, I would never have learned these life lessons otherwise. That's how to deal what youngsters go through. How would you know unless you see what a youngster is going through, you know? And another thing that has happened is that my generation is in a lot of divorces because a lot of people in my generation, we were at the crossroads. You know, we are the ones who started with that huge fat telephone, and today we carry around these tiny mobiles in our hands. Okay. So we have seen the whole shift in the way communication has been, which means the way we communicate with each other. So as a result of which, when we got married, a lot of people who from my generation who got married got into arranged marriages and realized halfway down, somewhere down the line after kids were born and stuff like that, that yeah, I mean, like this is not the life I asked for. This is not the you can make a choice. And people, women especially who are economically independent, have made the choice to move away and live separately or to live their own life. There's no rights or wrongs to these things. It's great if you can manage to stay with the same person. It's great if you move away also, These conversations have to come from you. You have to speak to your parents and your relatives. You have these functions at home. Talk to your uncles and aunts and, who are the know-alls. They're always a know-all, in your family who knows everything. Know-all से बैठ के बात करो.
खाने पे कहना. So khane pe kehna, we might come up with this tagline where we will be encouraging parents to talk, and it could be dinner pe kehna or something. Let's see. So I'll tell you, Agnidh. So I have maybe this was the culture in my family also, that my mom told, तुम कचरा भी करके आओ ना तो भी हमें बताओ. So this was the first time. So one of my this is not something I should tell, but yeah, this is something I would like to share though. So this was the first time I cheated in a test. Okay, where the girl who was sitting in front of me asked me something, and I told her because she was a neighbor and she is a friend also. आने के बाद my mom didn't know this, but my mom got to know from someone else, because in my colony the teacher used to stay. She told कि तुम्हारी बेटी ने cheating किया. So my mom got angry. She did not get angry कि मैंने वो लड़की को क्यों बताया और ये सब, but she got angry कि तूने मुझे क्यों नहीं बताया. So this is the first thing I have told you कि कुछ भी गलत करके आओ फिर भी बताओ, then we have got your back. So uske baad se, whoever I have dated with also, I tell my mom that this is the guy I'm dating. But the only painful thing that happens is whenever there is a breakup, she will also cry and she feel bad that my daughter has to go through all this. That is the only bad part of it. Otherwise, she is kept informed for all the things in my life, and we have like really great communication between us. So that is very, and this we have a very healthy relationship as well because of that. And she is like, I won't say she's my best friend or all, because I respect her a lot, and the like I cannot say abe kya kar rahi hai to mom, like I cannot give her galis also like how we give to our friends, but there is a very different cordial relationship with a lot of respect also. So yeah.
Now you got a lot of advice on how to take it forward.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. I'll try bring the subject with my parents.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll first try with my aunt, and then I'll see how it goes, and then
Yeah.
sort of, yeah.
You understand
friends, when you talk to your friends also, right? And when you guys are all hanging out, girls and guys, or whatever, the guys and the ones you're close to. I mean, somewhere the conversation also has to be that, our parents also are not, I mean, they're also human beings. And they're not born with this knowledge. They also learn it along the way, no? Right. So, so it's like that. And some parents who have more exposure to stuff might think a little differently. Like, like if you see the film Dangal, for example, in such an absolutely conservative corner of India, Haryana, where the ratio of women is much lower than men because of feticide that happens in that part of the place. Over there, to have women who are residents, can you even imagine what they must have gone through? So I was saying that you have to really break so many. We are all like very privileged that way. We all, are upper middle class. We all are fairly urban in our thing. Our struggles are not a struggle of survival or of walking down the street or of doing things. I mean, we all belong to communities which are accepted in the larger context of things. But imagine if it is a community where you don't eat non-vegetarian food, and because if you have to be a wrestler, you will not get protein unless you have non-vegetarian food. So they cook non-veg and they feed the girls. So can you imagine the amount they must have gone through? So like, those are the stories of inspiration. The people who have gone, like Savitribai Phule, how she grew, so many, so much to go to be the, to go to school. She used to be stoned when she used to be, when she used to go to school. People used to throw stones on her because they didn't want women to go to school. So people like that should be our inspiration because, थोड़ा सा discomfort होता है हमें, but we have to make that change.
That's so true. So,
Yeah.
Agnidh, also I'd like to know about from you how your friends are taking it. I know, like you told, there is a lot of pressure when you are dating someone. So, what are the things that you look out for a partner? Would like to know from you because we are talking about love, love aajkal or parso. So, maybe I can start with myself. Someone who has good IQ and EQ because EQ is very important. I think these days people are not emotionally available, and I'm someone who looks for emotional availability a lot rather than because I'm financially independent. I can take care of myself. Everything is there. But if someone is also there, and plus being an entrepreneur, if someone is also there emotionally available, I think that is like great. So I was dating this guy, and my mom was like, "What did you see in him?" I was like, "Mom, I can have conversation with him." She's like, "Wow, तेरे standards इतने गिर गए हैं." So I don't know whether it is standards गिर गए हैं, and that's the least I expect from someone. So yeah, tell me about what are your expectations, and I would like to know from ma'am like what her expectations were, and like I won't say there are some ideal expectations, but what are the least things that we should expect from our partner? Because I know my friend, when I tell them that this is the expectations I have. So I broke up with someone, and I told my friend who I broke up with. So why he asked me, why were you dating him? I said he was nice. He said nice is the least criteria, Madhvi. Like everyone is nice in this world. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think my expectations are very similar. I think that nowadays, most of us, I think professionally, we can sort of, we at least believe we can handle ourselves. Whether we actually can handle ourselves is a different question. But I think given that, if I would need someone, who I can be comfortable with, who I'm sort of, who I'm comfortable being vulnerable around, right? Who if I'm going through a tough time, who I can call at, let's say, 2 a.m. in the night, and be sort of completely be myself. And if I can say this, for example, I mean, I can't cry in front of my friends, right? I can't do that because even to this day, if I cry in front of my friends, they would say, why are you crying? Just man up or something. But I would like to be with someone, who I'm comfortable, crying around, right? Um, so I think that's the emotional availability part of it is sort of a big aspect of it. And talking about my friends, of course, that's also a social aspect of it. In college, not so much, but in school, I remember there was the social aspect of it because everybody wanted to date that one popular girl, right? In order to sort of become more sort of socially popular. So that was always there in school. So yeah, I mean, friends also have certain expectations. Friends also judge you for dating certain people, and sometimes I find that nowadays, since all of my friends are very open about relationships, everybody talks about their relationships. There's also the there's the family acceptance part of it, that the girl that you're dating, would she be acceptable to your family should that stage come? But of course, there's also the fact that would she be acceptable to your friends? Because do your friends like the person, right? Are your friends okay hanging out with her? So that's of course a big part, right? I mean, is that girl compatible with your friend? Yeah.
Yeah, wow, that is so interesting. Yeah, and acceptable acceptance from your family. Oh my God, that is so early. You're about 19 thinking. Yeah, ma'am. Would like to know from you, how has it changed? I mean, um, because I know from the generation that you come from, and you also told that many people were not financially stable. So of course, financial stability was the first thing that might have. Yeah.
People, so arranged marriages, the way it went, obviously, it was, apart from the caste community and all that stuff, it was obviously somebody who had a regular job. And in my time, it was bank jobs and government jobs were like top slot. Most eligible bachelors came from there, and I can assure you also the most boring probably, because whatever. I mean that was my point of view, but I'm sure there were very nice people also there. But that was then. But I think over the years, clearly it has changed, because now when I see my friends and the kind of spouses that their children are choosing, or they choose for them, they'll always be professionals. I mean, if the child is a professional working somewhere and doing well, and the spouse is also, even if it's an arranged marriage, look at that. But if you ask me, okay, like if I could ask tell my 25-year-old, and what I over the years, I mean, I would not say we made mistakes, but I would say that we would probably choose differently now. Also, I think, now, of course, all the good men are married, and all the interesting ones are married. So you can also see that those are the traits that, are reasons why you would want to, why women stay along with men like that, is because they are very emotionally connected. I mean, to each other. It is not to be emotionally connected to each other's families, but emotionally be able to identify. And when I look around and I see my friends and their spouses, and I see which are the couples that make it and which are the ones that are, we should never have been together. And I realize that is the major difference that is there. And economic stability is fine, because you can be like valid one person, most rich person, probably a very miserable person, also very very fat person. So that economic stability which was there in my generation, it is fine. Economic stability is good, because it kind of makes sure that you don't need you're not constantly thinking of surviving the next day or the next month. But there is a charm in that also, to be able to struggle. To be able to struggle, there is a charm in that. If I just have coming your way, you don't have to plan anything. There is enough money to take care of it. So if that little struggle exists, it also adds to it. So I think the criteria has probably changed a bit. But again, it is upper middle class parents will obviously want their children to marry people who are doing well, quote unquote. May not be bank jobs and government jobs, but doing well. You're mute.
I remember one of my cousin asked me to get married to, to a guy who was working for a bank. I was like, no, they're very boring. No offense. Sorry to say this, but
Yeah, I mean, it is actually the tag of a bank, and that is an unfortunate tag. It's unfortunate, but it's true.
So did you date the person you got married to, or no? I
Yeah,
mean,
I basically no. I had dated someone when I was in college, but then that was maximum. It was like going for a walk, or going for dinner, or something like that. It was not, and obviously my parents didn't know. I mean, they would have killed me probably. Not killed me, but they would have. I mean, I couldn't tell them, because none of us told our parents. It was as simple as that. And then I later on met who I got married to. I met him when I was working. When I was a journalist, and so was he. We were both journalists, and that's how we met. And then we got married, and so we did not want to get married initially. I mean, I was not keen on getting married. He was keen on getting married, and we went around for about a year. And my parents were putting a lot of pressure on me to get married to somebody, like or whatever. And we are a big family, as in the extended family, and I was the next girl in line to get married, so as to say. So when I told my parents about him, they wanted me to marry him immediately, because my parents didn't trust me at all. This is what you get married now. You hang around, and I started informing you. I said, no information and all. I'm married now. And he also was very keen that I get married. So, it was like I was so irritated, at that point of time, that I was facing pressure from him and my parents. Then I said, okay, but I will decide how the marriage is. That was my level of rebellion, is that we did not have a big wedding. We got married in the house and stuff like that.
oh, nice.
And yeah, I mean, in retrospect, it is nice. I mean, my mother was very irritated because I refused to buy new sarees, so she couldn't buy a new saree herself. So it was like that. It was, so we were married for around 15 years, and then I think, I mean, at least I felt that, it was not really, I mean, we continued to be very good friends because we have a child together also. My daughter is now 27, much older than you, Agnidh. So she is 27, and so we are friends. I mean, like this, and he got remarried again, so which is also fine. We are in touch. But I was saying, as friends, it was fine, but as a marriage, it didn't really work.
Yeah.
That is important because you get married under pressure, and this is what happens. If you have a mind of your own, after a period of time, you realize that, and this is not what I wanted in a marriage. I wanted the marriage to be very challenging, and I wanted a marriage where you grow, and that was obviously not happening. Very nice person, but, continues to be a nice person, and so am I very nice, but, so that's the way it is.
Yeah. So, however, I would like to continue this conversation because this is so interesting. We have to start with our rapid fire questions. So, rapid fire questions are just copied from Coffee with Karan's rapid fire questions, but the questions are very different. No, I mean the segment is copied,
The
but
concept is,
yeah. But yeah, I tell it upfront because I don't want him to sue me or whatever. So yeah. So we'll go with ma'am first.
should
Yes. So what would you like to tell your younger self, 20-year-old something?
to chill out and not be so serious all the time, and to, to do. I mean, I did many things, but you can do much more and not feel hassled about it.
To be the current Doris?
To the current Doris,
To be the, so you will tell your younger self to be the current Doris who is chilled out and amazing.
no, I was chilled out then only. I was also very serious. Like I never dated till I was like much older. You know what I mean. Maybe I was just a late bloomer. Probably this is one of these things. So,
Yeah. So, what is a TV series you would like to be named? If your life was a TV series, what it would be called?
I would like to be Phoebe from Friends.
Oh, nice. Sundays are incomplete without?
Watching 2 hours of Netflix.
uh, okay. How many snoozes in your alarm if there are?
How many snoozes? Two.
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 Okay. Do you Instagram your food?
No, I only follow people on Instagram. I do not post anything.
Okay.
I just stalk people on Instagram.
Your guilty pleasure?
Dark chocolate.
Cringe thing you have ever done?
Sorry, things I have never done.
No, cringe thing that you have ever done.
I can't think of anything. I mean, I must have done several hundreds of them, but I can't think of anything right now.
That's okay. And last movie you watched?
Last movie, where the crawdads sing, which is just streaming on Netflix.
Which one?
When the crawdads sing.
Okay. That's great. So what is the one thing that you like about ThatMate app?
Because it is very innovative and it's something that is a need of the day, is what I think. I mean, need of the day, definitely. That's why I think it's very important that more and more children have the forums to, be present and to be able to talk about issues which could be just about anything under the sun, which does not really exist in your life.
Yeah. What is the first word that comes to your mind when you hear the following? Periods.
Very peaceful.
Depression.
Sad. Being sad.
Relationships.
Passionate.
Exam.
Every relationship. Exam. What a pain.
Social media.
It's here to stay forever. Should not be limited.
India.
It's a nation which is so diverse, we should embrace it, and at the same time, not be blind to the many flaws that we have.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that. Okay, Agnid, you go next.
Yeah.
I can get my charger. Just a second.
Yeah, yeah. Describe yourself in a hashtag.
Um, Hashtag getting better.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited you are about your life?
Um, Eight.
Okay. Um, what is your secret talent?
Uh, my secret talent. Um, my secret talent. Well, that's something I have to think about. Uh, I think doing wheelies on a bike.
Oh, nice. Really? It's very unsafe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. What's inspiring you right now?
What's inspiring me right now? I think my mother.
Oh,
Yeah.
great. What is the one thing that you like about ThatMate app?
I think that the content on the app is very tailor made, and it's unlike other apps. It's very tailor made for students. It's written for and by people who know that they've been through that phase in life, and everybody can relate to that.
Cool. So, what is the first word that comes to your mind when you hear the following? Periods,
Fortunately, taboo.
depression,
Sadness,
relationships,
secret,
exams,
uh, sadness again,
social media,
drug,
India.
home.
Great. Thank you so much for being here. I guess we had amazing discussion, and I think the link would be out before 14th Feb so that people can know about how to talk about relationship with their parents. So yeah,
Thank you. Lovely. It was lovely. And all the best, Agnidh, and all that you're doing. I didn't realize you were 19, but wow, I wish I
yeah,
was 19.
yes. We have to do a one on exam pressure also. So I'll reach out to you and I'll reach out to one psychologist also. Maybe I'll ask Vidisha also if she can join.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Yeah, cool. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you. Thank you for your
Take
time.
care.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Bye. Bye.